Hello and welcome back to Tuesday NBA DFS Slate Breakdown for December 19th. We got a 4-gamer, so this video should be quick. We will try and hit it as quick as we can and let you guys go off on to winning some money. Before we get into it, $39.99 per month gets you access to everything we do, all the props, all the DFS. Come win money with us. It's a good time. All right, now get into the slate here. 4-gamer, biggest news on the slate, Ja Morant is back. The other news, Victor Wembanyama is out. So those are the two things that really shake up the slate here. And the one news to watch that is fairly big is Porzingis being questionable for the good old Celtics. That is definitely the biggest news to watch. Outside of that, Chris Paul's questionable and Shaedon Sharpe is questionable. Now, let's get into it a little bit. Point guards, as always, we got Damian Lillard, Jeremy Shohan, and Trey Jones coming in as the highest owned, with Steph Curry right there as well. Lillard, I actually like Lillard a lot in this situation. It does feel like he's starting to figure out a little bit more how to play with Giannis, and we've seen some upside there. So, especially in this matchup, I think his upside is ripe for the taking here. You know, he can hit 50, he can hit 60s, and that's really what we need on this slate. I don't mind going Jeremy. I just do think that he's missing some upside at 5.5K. You know, he only has one game where he's really, 7X plus. Everything else, he's struggling to be at 6X. So I just don't love going there on this small slate. They're big-time underdogs. I think there's other places we can go. Trey Jones, that's a no for me, dog. Some pivots that I do like. CJ McCollum. McCollum's straight up playing extremely well. 1.18 fantasy per minute over his last 20 starts. He has a good matchup versus the Grizzlies. I like the spot quite a bit. And it's a game where the Grizzlies should be in this game with Ja back. They're going to be a lot better. So I am definitely intrigued to go there. And then we got to talk about Ja Morant. Look, the last time he was playing, Dylan Brooks was still on the team. Dylan Brooks is gone. Marcus Smart is out. There's no Trey Jones. He's going to have the ball in his hands a ton. It's really him and Desmond Bane on offense. And without Dylan Brooks last year, Morant was like a 1.6 fantasy per minute player. That is, a elite fantasy producer. Now, big time question marks. Is he going to be limited minutes? How many minutes is he going to play? I think all of our projections industry-wide for Ja right now are fragile. We don't know how many minutes he's going to play. And without that, it's extremely hard to project. Now, they say there's no minutes limit on him, but does that mean he's going to come out and play out, 35 minutes? Maybe. We have him at 32 right now, and I think most of the places across the industry are kind of like that, where they're being a little careful with his minutes. I very easily could see him play 34 minutes. I'm sure he's been working hard. He knows this day has been coming back. I expect him to be a full go and get close to, if not his full minutes. So I don't mind going to some Ja at low ownership in his first game back. Come out guns a-blazing. Now let's go over to DraftKings point guard here. Highest owned, we got Devin Vassell. I do like Vassell. It's all Spurs here at the top, and I'm not that surprised. Ownership on the Spurs is going to be high today because Wemby's out. But the thing is that Wemby being out doesn't change the usage as much as other guys. Wemby can do a lot without the ball. A lot of his fantasy production has come from blocks and steals. You know, he gets 3, 4, 5 in those big games, and then also hits the rebounds, gets putbacks, and does that kind of stuff to really help the team. He actually doesn't have the ball in his hands a ton, so it's an interesting kind of dichotomy of this team. But Spurs also huge underdogs, so if they get blown out, a lot of the field is going to get blown out as well. Anthony Simons, definitely interested in him as well. And into the matchup tool for point guards, Simons is on the very top, Holiday and McCollum. Definitely like McCollum. Holiday, I'm kind of meh on. There is upside, though, especially if Porzingis is out. And Simons, I actually like quite a bit. He's been balling since he came back, showing real high upside for his price. So definitely intrigued to go there at a little bit lower ownership. Now, shooting guard, we got Vessel, Herb Jones, and CJ McCollum. I do think Herb is a little bit interesting. Now, he's been bad lately. So, and 19 minutes is a little scary, 28, 20. I do have him around 29 and a half minutes for me. We have him at 30. I think that's fairly safe. And in a game that could be competitive, I don't mind going here. If he gets hot, he can fill it up a little bit. But some of my other pivots here are CJ McCollum. Or we talked about CJ. I meant Chris Middleton here. All right, I got to bring up Middleton. So they are big-time favorites, which is a little scary. Maybe his minutes aren't there, but over his last 5 games, he's averaging 29.5. So he is finally getting the minutes he needs to really produce. Yes, his price has gone up a little bit, but in a soft matchup, I do like his spot to do well. He could absolutely get into the 30s at 30 minutes, you know, high 30s even. And I don't mind going there at his price. The only thing is, it's not likely that he's going for 50. So that upside is gone, but he could get into high 30s or 40s, and at low ownership is interesting to me. Desmond Bane, look, everybody is going to jump off the Desmond Bane bandwagon because, one, his price is still elevated because Ja is out. But the guy's been playing extremely well. And being $300 cheaper in a decent matchup, I'm still a little bit intrigued. And it's just a little bit of a soft matchup for his position. And if he gets hot, he can totally go off. So I still do not mind to go here. Wish his price was a little bit lower, but that's keeping ownership away. So I think it's an interesting spot to attack. Now, getting over to DK shooting guard, we got Vassell, Middleton, and Simons, all of which are interesting. Matchup-wise, Podziemski is showing up a little bit, and hey, he's been showing up a bit as a starter, so not against going there. He is at lower ownership. If he can do it against the Celtics, it's a real nice spot for him. And frankly, guys that like Melton and Brown have got there, Suggs have got there, so it is possible for a shooting guard to do it versus the Celtics. So slightly interested there. Don't really love Grayson Allen. Don't love White. But, hey, we got to play a shooting guard somewhere. So, small forward on FanDuel. We got Keldon Johnson, Herb Jones, and Nasir Little, all 25 plus. Keldon Johnson is absolutely interesting. Herb Jones, we've talked about. Nasir Little, issue with him is just minutes. He's going to get, 24 to 26, and he's got to produce at a very high clip, higher than he typically does to end up being an optimal lineup. So I don't love going there. I think right now we really got to go more of a balanced approach on today's slate due to the fact that there's not a ton of value out there right now. So unless something opens up, then, you can go a little more stud dud. So some of the guys to consider, I really like KD in this spot. He is pricey at 10K, but the upside's there. He can absolutely dismantle this Trailblazers team, and I think it's a spot where they're going to rely on KD a little bit more than D-Book. Desmond Bane, we talked about. Trey Murphy. Trey Murphy is a very interesting one to me. Look, he's going to play 26, 28 minutes off the bench, but he's a dude that can absolutely fill it. Had 6 threes versus Washington last week. He 2 threes the other day, 1 before that, but I think there's some real upside here, and in our picks today, making our lineups, we need a couple guys that have real upside for their price. And I think Trey Murphy is one that is going low owned that could get into, that 40 fantasy point area at his price is intriguing. And I'm definitely worthy of going there. The fact that he's, got to almost 30 a couple times at his price is interesting too. So it gives you a little bit of a floor, 5x-ish floor with a big ceiling is interesting with nobody going there. And get over to DK. Small forward, we got Keldon, Middleton, Sohan. And on the matchups, Little, Middleton, and Keldon. So kind of talked about it all there. Nothing too surprising. And on to power forward, we got Zach Collins, Keldon, Sohan, all showing up here. Just super Spurs heavy here. So Zach Collins, we obviously got to talk about here. Look, he's going to go back into starter. There's no Wemby. So it's his center position tonight. And the dude can absolutely produce, and it's a decent spot versus centers. Milwaukee, 25th versus centers. So it's definitely a good spot. The problem here is it's 16.5 point underdogs. And if they can't keep this game close, his minutes are going to get severely affected. It does make guys like Sandro a little bit interesting, who he's going to get some run today, at least as a backup. But if in a blowout situation, maybe Sandro plays a little bit more. So I thought he's interesting for that. Zion Williams is going a little overlooked today. 7.9K in the 40s regularly. Has the upside of the 50s. He pretty much has everything we want. The one thing is that, his minutes aren't of a superstar's minutes. He's more in that 30 to 32 range, not 34 plus. But at only 7,900, I'm okay with taking that chance there. And then KD, we talked about that and liking KD. High own on DK, power forward, Keldon Johnson, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Bobby Portis. All of them are fine. The one thing is, in a big blowout, a lot of the reserves lose the most minutes, being the fact that, if they don't play the fourth quarter, they're missing, 25% of their minutes right off the bat just because of that. Giannis, you can't ever say no to Giannis. I don't mind him. It is the highest scoring, game on the slate. The one thing is that, we have the big blowout, and I don't mind just going somewhere else. With that being said, though, the Bucks have had a hard time really creating a blowout early in the game. They generally wait until later in the game to really pull away. So, minutes might not be affected too much today, but there's really a lot of ways to go about it. But look, a 16.5 point favorite is giant, and we usually don't see that big of favorites. Into the matchup spot, we got Giannis on the top, Jaren Jackson, and Tatum. Jaren Jackson's absolutely interesting. Still Ja being back doesn't affect him too much. He really just has to produce in the blocks and steals department and then do okay offensively, and he's there. Don't mind going there. Don't mind going Tatum. I like Tatum a lot more, though, if Porzingis is out. And let's go over to the center position now. So Zach Collins, Sandro, and Yusuf Nurkic are the high-owned on FanDuel. One guy I want to bring up is Brook Lopez here. It's a very nice spot going against Zach Collins. Spurs haven't been too tough versus the center, and I think Lopez can absolutely beat him. Issue is big-time favorites, so this is a game where if I am playing sides of it, I don't mind playing more of a game stack kind of correlation, hoping the Spurs stay in it a little bit longer, or go, some of the Bucks starters and some bench pieces that may get extra minutes in a Spurs blowout. I think that's kind of the interesting way to play this game and figure it out. Just 16 points is a giant difference. DraftKings high-owned guys, we got Collins, Sandro, and Giannis coming in at high-owned with Bobby P following up the rear. And matchups, Brook Lopez is on the top, Jonas Valanciunas, and Zach Collins. We got to talk about Jonas a little bit here. He's been getting extra minutes lately. So 30.3 minutes per game over the last 5, 28.5 over the last 20. He's had a couple games where he's 35, 37 minutes. If that was to happen, he's in a smash spot. It's just something that's very hard to project. We have him at 30 minutes right now. That's right around where I would put him as well. Hard to project him for more, given how, his minutes have fluctuated so much from game to game. The other thing is Memphis, while they have Jaren Jackson, they don't have a true big man right now. And that might be part of the reason why, he doesn't get quite as many minutes tonight. Now, all in all, I think Jonas is an interesting pick. It's just not one that's easy projectable due to his minutes being all over the place. The variance in those minutes are real. If he gets 34, he could smash, but it's a big if. All right, guys, that will do it for us today. We will be back tomorrow. I think we got a big slate tomorrow, and you guys have a good one. Good luck tonight. Let's win some money. Talk to you later. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe in the video. Helps us a ton. Bye.